with lot of tools which you can use in your work, and you can make your job easier. For example, code generation is a very important aspect of AI today. I mean, gone are the days when you have to sit with the Python programming and wonder what logic should I employ, and sit down and try to write a code. And while you write a code, the code breaks and you're having a logical problem. You go to debugging. And when you go to debug, again something else catches up with you. So that's a very fundamental thing for any coder, basically. So for people like me who wanted to transition from a chief engineer to a chief data officer, so AI has been very instrumental for me to learn. In a sense, when I joined an organization way back about 5 years ago, when I was into vessel performance, I did not know what was vessel performance. I thought my domain knowledge was more than enough for me. But later I realized I had to embrace technology because the client's demand was so much. They were asking a lot of questions which was pertaining to technology, not my domain. They know the domain part because they are established seafarers, they have been chief engineers, they have been masters, they have been superintendents. They know all of that. I don't want to tell them that your temperature is going up or your pressure is going down. They don't want to listen to that. They want to see how do we optimize them. Like if my ship is sailing in under certain draft conditions.
that is what is the skill for the future. Nobody will be involved in doing the repetitive tasks because that is just going to go away. Now don't think that that is going to take major chunk of the workforce. No, that is going to replace some, but then as human intellect starts to develop, you will see that we will be doing much better job with the support of AI. Now the other aspect or the other trend that you would see is the how company is interacting with the vessels through now. Gone are the days when we used to have $2 a minute phone call over satellite to now we have got communication, seamless communication with the shore. You can talk to your families, you can talk to your friends seamlessly. It is always there, even when you're saying, thanks to Starlink, of course. So that's how it is progressing now. So what is going to happen in future is someone who is sitting down in the office ashore, he is going to do the troubleshoot for you. You will have access to the technology, you will have access to SMEs. SMEs means subject matter experts. So even though you are now doing some kind of maintenance and you feel that, oh, I don't have that kind of knowledge in it, you will still have that kind of knowledge support from the shore. Only because technology is going to make that thing happen. So you have to start now indulging in discussions on multiple functions. Alright, so that's going to change. And the third, and which is the very most important thing is, the world is changing, okay, and it is changing very fast. Pandemic, geopolitical instability, or the way that it is moving at the moment, climate change, all these things, what it does teach you is, we never expected COVID to hit in 2019 and we prepared 5 years ago. It didn't happen. Again, something is going to change. The whole shipping company will witness that. It all depends upon how resilient you are, how agile you are, how well trained you are to actually be able to meet such challenges, overcome it. Okay, when you get on board the ships, you may find something different from what you have been taught, not theoretically, but then you will start to see the practical nature of what's happening on board. Alright, so you have to be open-minded, keep yourself very open to challenges, and that's what is going to change in all about AI and stuff which is going to come on board. Thank you.
Thank you. So I come to you next, sir. With over 30 years in the maritime industry and in the maritime training institutes, how do you think the traditional seamanship will blend with training to provide seafarers readiness for future shipping and sustainability?
Thank you very much. The slides, thank you very much. From the beginning, just you can note it down. Are you all ready? No? Can you hear me, sir?
Are you audible? Is he audible?
Yes, sir. Hello? Let me keep more than this topic. Thank you very much for the opportunity given to me. So, are you all ready for the surprise? Yes, I am also one among you. Why? It's a continuous learning till your life ends. Okay. So we are always student only. Okay. So main fear about the education, like after completion of the course, what is our fear? Yeah, more interaction. So job, no? Everybody is about the job. Placement. That's why we select the institutes where we can get the placements. Right. So don't worry about that. So this is what I have. We have to salute. Morning you are done it. Please let's take place. So he was giving more about the education, especially about the discipline. Okay, you must have heard about it. Make your bed in the morning so that it is ready when you are coming back in the evening, even though you had a tough time all the years. So same like next slide, please. So first to start with the discipline. So we have to be. The Indians are smart, becoming smart. Should we become smart or not? We should be smarter than Indians, correct? Yeah. Yeah, please. Only both side is giving noise. Both side still. What happened? Both side green. Patches this side. Okay. Amet sincere. Very good, very good. So we will be talking about green engineering, resource management, so many things. What we want to change, right? So always NCC, always you are all in NCC, I believe. Very good. So you may, okay, fine. So you may be going for the camps, and I have attended all the SSBs, service selection board interviews and all. Actually, I was selected in Bhopal and all, but he said he saw mentioned Navy selection, and he said better you go enjoy the world, earn money. There is nothing, no happiness in Indian Navy. But I am not dictating it. But this was the statement given by the, and he literally failed me. Okay, that is good or bad? Still it's good. Okay. So we have to be smarter than the English. Okay. What ways we can make out? Please next slide, please. So whether you want it or not, correct? You are all worried about the job, no? Oh my God. So, no problem. Where are we now? Anybody can tell which 4.0, 5.0 are still in one? Which year we are? Yeah, we are overlapping. 5 is overlapping. Still we are in 4 only. Okay, 4. But now the robots are there. So we will be coordinating with the robots. Okay. So now the robots can carry, like if you wear the coat or whatever, you can even lift more than 100 kgs and all. It's all not magic, it's all happening. So we will be talking about, yes sir, we will be talking about that industrial revolution, which is 5. So please, we have to be ready. Okay, everybody will be saying ready, but easy. Okay, I can tell you, like, because I am in teaching, like, you are having a small lantern, the technology is like that. You are having a small lantern, you have to cross a big dark area, forest. Don't hesitate. The very first step you have to take. Okay, that is the way you are all be given. Don't worry about the latest technology. We are not going to take the jobs away. The education system has been now very soon. STC, STW, all these regulations will be updated. So they have found out that there are 500 actually inconsistencies. What we are having now with regarding to this digital data, whatever. So what they have found out is we are having outdated training methods. Emerging technologies have to be included. Digitalization that we will be talking about. Cyber security. You are all studying now. In security course also, when you are going for exit exam, maybe more detail. So cyber security. Even the students are somewhere. They are even diverted the ship, changing the GPS and all. Okay, so the cyber security is the most important. There are 3 things we will be talking about: leadership and all. So what institutions have to give you, and especially these 2 things are very important. You all know about the alternate fuels, which we will be talking about, the safety, bunkering, all these things. And finally, the most expected, like our Rajini movies. What is that? Mars. He was working in Mars. So what is that? Marine. Maritime automated surface ships. So don't worry. But after 20 years only, so what we have learned is list of sand only. So it will be a continuous. So respect the teachers, like the systems are going to change in all the aspects, whether it is automation fuel, like alternate fuels. 2027 or 28 all the regulations will be coming. Now we are having only IGF code only, but with the ships we will be talking about biofuel also. So don't worry about that, because there is the automation is not going to take your job. It is going to enhance you only. We are not fit with the language, whatever machine learning, whatever the digital. We should be comfort. Okay, don't worry about that, because of the unemployment only, we are bringing this automation. Okay, so we have to be fit for that. There are people for the employment, but they should be fit for the latest developments. Okay, this is like the old wine in the new bottle.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I think very interesting perspective on that. So I'll take it from there to Mr. Venkatesan, what he mentioned. As the industry becomes more digitalized and automated, how do you think the industry can best bridge the gap? Because these students who are learning today, they are going to be the future into the shipping tomorrow, and they are going to be on board the vessels and in the offices. Because we are focusing a lot on the seafaring side of it. Trust me, the challenges we face on the office side will be equally big because we have to train them. So how do you think the industry can bridge that gap?
HFO which costs around 500 to 600 rupees $1 million per ton, around to hydrogen which will cost $1,000 to $1,200. It will be a lot expensive. So the companies who are using or operating these new fuels should be given incentives and benefits over the companies who are not to promote these new changes. Next slide. These are the technical and operational insights. So first of all, we have bio-LNG renewable compatibility. So bio-LNG, already our ships are compatible with LNG, and we can use bio-LNG in the integrated LNG systems already, but the problem is scaling. We can't scale it enough to meet the requirements which we have. The next is ammonia. Ammonia is carbon-free jet LNG. As we all know, ammonia is carcinogenic. It's a cancer-causing gas. So it is very dangerous to work in the shipping environment, of course, in the marine conditions. So we need new engine designs and all, new pumping systems, all these things to operate ammonia. And then there is hydrogen. Hydrogen, which is the cleanest, but it is the most complex because storing hydrogen is not an easy task. It needs high pressure up to 700 bars or temperature up to minus 250 degrees Celsius. Attaining those will be very difficult on a ship. Next slide. So these are all the comparative overviews of the three fuels I have told. As I have a time constraint, so I will not be going into the depth of this. Next slide, please. So this is the graph of the prices of the different fuels used. As you can see, bio-LNG is the cheapest one, ammonia is in the middle, and hydrogen is the safest one, is the most expensive. With its emissions also mentioned. These are the business models which we can use to scale zero carbon fuels because only technology or engineering will not be enough to sustain these fuels. We also need economics and business mindsets to push the companies to use these also. First of all is green corridors. So we should make green corridors like pathways for different pathways for these vessels which will be operating on these green fuels or different alternate fuels. There are some corridors already made between Singapore and other ports which are operating these alternate fuels. Then there is a fuel as a service. If we just tell the companies to change the fuel, they'll change the fuel or change the engine types. They'll not reciprocate very easily because they'll have financial constraints. So we can carbon pricing and tax credits. We should provide tax credits to the companies, and carbon pricing should be tax credits given to them. Who all companies are using these alternate fuels, there should be tax credits given to them. And then there is public-private partnership. There should be partnership with organizations like EU, European Union, and IMO with the shipping companies, because only if we push companies, they will not use these fuels. There should be pressure built up from the European Union and IMO. Next slide. These are the challenges and risks involved in the operations of these alternate fuels. First of all, we have technical problems which include storage temperatures. As I mentioned, hydrogen needs low temperatures and high pressures to store. There is toxicity of ammonia and of course material compatibility. There is operational, there will be intensive crew trainings which will be needed the present crews will be needed to train to use these alternate fuels, and then these bunkering protocols will be all over new redirectional of the ports and all the bunkering systems to use these fuels. Then there is regulatory lack of global support, because if we just say that change the fuel, all the ports will not agree to it. We need to push all the port authorities and all the organizations of the world so that they allow these things to happen. Then this economic, of course, higher fuel costs are there. HFOs are comparatively cheaper to these alternate fuels, especially hydrogen. Then there is supply chain. Green hydrogen and ammonia are not yet widely produced at a scale because these are still in research progress. They are still in laboratories. We need to push. We need to provide financial help, and all the European unions and our maritime organizations need to push these laboratories and need to push the shipping companies to put financial help into these research organizations which are researching on alternate fuels. Next slide. These are the recommendations for sustainable future. First of all, increase pilot scale demonstrations. Laboratories needs to be pushed. Then there is established green corridors, as I already mentioned about the green corridors. Integrate fuel innovation in education. As cadets, we need to be taught about alternate fuels, and our syllabus need to be updated according not only about HFOs but also alternate fuels including hydrogen, ammonia, and bioenergy. Support industry-wide knowledge. This should be knowledge given to cadets who are working on board ship. Not only the cadets who are actually working on board, they should be also trained about these things. Then this provide retrofit. The companies who are using, who are giving a shot to the alternate fuels, they should be provided with benefits, tax benefits, and also cheaper cost should be given to them. Next slide. These are the basically conclusions. So first of all, the technology, we need to develop engines, storage, and bunkering systems. Then there's training and skills. We need to train our crew, we need to train our cadets to develop the skills of handling these fuels to them. Then there's policy and collaboration. Handling these chemicals or fuels is a big task. Only in the research and laboratories it is very dangerous when compared to working it on a vessel in marine conditions. It will be very difficult. So the crew needs to be trained, and there should be collaboration between governments and organizations. Then there is fuel diversity. Different types of fuels should be used in different types of vessels. Not like HFO. Like HFOs can be used in all types of vessels, but these fuels can be used not in all types of vessels. There should be disparity between the vessel and the fuel type. Next slide. So the future sailors, the fuel, these are all the things they should be taught before using these fuels. Digital monitoring. We already monitor our heavy fuels well, but monitoring these types of fuel and HFOs is completely different game. There should be digital monitoring, manual monitoring, and all the pressure monitoring will be entirely different. Then fuel cells, we should be aware about the fuel cells, and then chemical safety, which is the most important thing because these fuels are hazardous, especially if we talk about ammonia as we all know is a carcinogenic. Next slide. So as a sailor's perspective, so first of all, there should be travel and storage because we need to master how to handle these fuel oils. That's the most important part. If we know how to handle these alternate fuels, we can master them. We can use them properly. Then the safety procedures. The crew needs to be trained. Again, I'm emphasizing on the same point, but it is the most important point because as these fuels are the only thing which is stopping us from using these fuels in the near future is the safety concerns, as these fuels are highly hazardous and not compatible currently with our ships. Then there is hybrid propulsion. The current propulsion system, there should be a hybrid mechanism added, like two types of fuel can be used to push the ships. And then there is mental preparedness. Crew needs to be prepared mentally as well as physically for the propulsion of these ships using these fuels. Next slide. These are all the references I have used, all the links, all the websites I have used to develop and research these papers and presentations. You can visit them and find few.
Okay, that's fantastic. At least some of them. So what does cybersecurity is? There are some smart people outside who are trying to catch on of you. They would send some SMS text messages, probably they'll give you a call, try to fish you, get your information, get your bank details, and probably not yours but your parents as well, and try to siphon out the money. So what are they continuously trying to do is try to reach out to you to get your sensitive information. And how do you protect that? That is called cybersecurity. Now, many of the shipping companies have a lot of systems, not only shipping companies, but shipping companies operate with their external stakeholders. When I say external stakeholders, this could be your port operators or logistics service providers. and everyone is using systems, right? Everyone works on laptops, all of you have got email accesses, all of the communication that happens is on our emails. Now, there also cybersecurity is quite important because it is not a peripheral risk anymore, it is an operational core priority to ensure that company is protected from such cybersecurity attacks. It is, when you say shipping company, it is not only the office space, but it is also the vessel and all the other stakeholders that the shipping company would interact with. Now, how do we protect ourselves? Now, this is a quite interesting question because this is just not going to be a one-stage setup where we just go to a college, learn about cybersecurity, get a certification, and it is all done, thumbs up, fantastic. But it is a continuous learning process. It is not just 1 year of intensive course training or additional course training, but this is a continuous journey for all the shipping companies now because shipping companies are very volatile. They are readily, accessible for people who take all the cyber attacks very seriously. Alright, so there are a lot of people who are calling up companies, sending an email with an attachment. Now, the moment you click on the attachment, you open it, you have given your system access to others, and they can easily manipulate the data in your laptop, access your server, which is not in the company but on the cloud, access all the data from the server, black out the data, and then send a threatening email saying that, okay, this is the ransom amount, do you want to pay? And only if you pay, then I'll release your data to you. So that's what is happening at the moment. So how do companies protect and educate their employees? So every company has got their own running training plan. I will just talk about what Swire does. Swire Shipping has got a structured way of giving trainings every year and then implementing modules every 1 month. This is some kind of a live triggers that our IT system would send it out to all the people in the organization to make sure that the staff is vigilant, are able to flag if they see, are able to identify red flags, and then they are rewarded for what they have done. So it is a continuous journey what we do, and it is just not going to stop at one place because the criminals are going to go more smarter. Now AI is also going to advise them on how to become more smarter. So you have to be 10 steps ahead of what is going to happen. You need to understand that you should be able to identify such red flags and take mitigated action even before the cyber attacks fully forms. Right, so that's how it is now. Cybersecurity is, as I said, it is not a peripheral concern. What it was thought previously, said, oh, this is tech. This is not tech. This is operational imperative. Everyone should in the company understand that you will be to flag out to others when you come across. Thank you.
Thank you. So, how many of you have heard of digital arrest or undergone anything of this sort? I'm sure all of you are watching your mobiles and seeing the videos of this. That's something where you have cyber threats right on your doorstep, especially with the older people, where you are threatened to release your data, release your information. You need to be mindful of this, and this applies to the organizations and to the ships as well. It is quite critical, especially on vessel where vessel operations get affected with it. So going forward from learning, I would want to now ask Mr. Ramakrishnan. We are going into sustainable shipping. We are, talking about different fuels, ammonia, LNG, methanol. Conventionally, the chemical cargoes have been dealt with by one set of officers on the vessels. Now it will be the owners will be on both sides. So how do we train, or what do we need to do to train our team to be ready for the next set of fuels that are coming and the next set of challenges that will come with the sustainable shipping?
Thank you, sir. It's a need of the hour, actually. So now we are going with these alternate fuels slowly. Already we have been running with the LNG ships. Probably like ammonia ships are coming up, and hydrogen is in the pipeline. Like pretty sure after doing ammonia is having the toxicity and all. But regarding this safety, especially the storage, we can like how we are storing. There are some latest on biofuels. So 30% bio and normal 70% is heavy oil. So how we are going to store it? So what are the difficulties like compatibility, and we have the sludge problem also because of the 4 points. You may be knowing, everybody knows 4 points and all. So 4 points is playing a major role and sludge formation. So normally, can we tell or not, like old days, this fuel conditioners we used to put it, but when you go to the ships, you will be seeing plenty stock available. Like nobody has used it, but we really used it once, and a lot of such formation. Atlantic crossing Atlantic was a hell really for us. Like a paper, the filters, purifiers, all filters, everything is talking like anything. Every 10 minutes you have to clean the filter. So sometimes, but it is not like that. Biofuels, we need to add this treatment, whatever. So they are giving in the biofuel. And one more thing, you all must have heard about microbial degradation. Are you all aware of it? Microbes. Where you will find it is in the crankcase and all, correct? So water maybe coming from the cooler heat exchanger, something like that. So we are not going to talk about it, but this microbial growth also can happen. What is the reason? What they are telling is because of the high tendency to absorb moisture, these biofuels. So there are chances for it to contaminate by microbial growth. And 4 point already told, material compatibility, fuel sludging and all. So engine performance, that is more important. So as I said, the filter choking and all. How about this sustainability towards this? They say increased specific SFC, specific fuel consumption. You will be reading now, you all must be doing, and you on board also you will see. So there will be a slight increase in the SFC, and I am talking about the biofuel particular, okay? And one more thing they say about the NOx emissions, we are all fighting for it, but there will be a slight increase about they say averaging 4% for 2-stroke engine and 2.4 for 4-stroke engines. This will be a small increase because we are talking about sustainability, but biofuel is there. And on the equipments like parts, engine parts, injection failures can happen. So turbocharger also can get deteriorated. So this is actually from a friend who is a chief engineer from the V.O.C. So they have given the special bulletin. So you can take my email ID also, phone number also. It is the time is very limited. Okay. Regarding the bunkers, so storage also we have told about the temperature has to be maintained little higher. Whatever the bunker temperature, we have to maintain the same temperature from the void. So otherwise, this such problems will be terrible. They say. So then we should have a day tank and not we should completely empty this changeover business and all. Okay. And performance inspection, we have to regularly do the performance what we are doing. So bunkering, what they are telling is chemical additives. So the names are there. So we have to keep the same temperature as I told. So analysis has to be done on board. That on-board analysis is also very important. So we have to be very careful. So filters, again and again, they are repeating to the engineers on board. Like take care of the filters and purifiers. You have to run as clarifiers only. So this is what they are telling. You have to run the like clarifiers, so that you are not getting these problems. So lot of things are there. So still the rules are applicable with the IGM code only. Very soon, by 2027, you will be getting the latest rules and what are the safety guidelines, especially for this alternate fuels apart from LNG and all. Okay, let's hope that we will be operating. Okay, get familiarized all this.
Thank you for that insight, sir. I think we've had a very interesting discussion so far. I would now like to open the question and answer session to the audience and to all the sleeping cadets on the first row. If you have any questions, there are three very experienced panelists. Please raise your hand and we'll give you a microphone.
If I may, I was just listening to Chief Ramakrishnan. Now, when we talk about any like power station or anywhere, when we build a power station, we build it to a certain kind of a fuel. Like you look at the coal use, certain calorific value. Even oil has been designed for a car. You get turbo fuel, you get all kind of other fuel that you can do additives. But won't that be harmful for an existing ship? Because if you design a ship for working on a particular kind of fuel, and you're going to change it to something else, you will have other kind of problems, right?
Thank you very much, sir. That was a wonderful question. I would like to add, sir was telling about the retrofitting. Like, this is the kind of latest V.O.C, the last meeting what we were attending also. The V.O.C is coming with the retrofit. Because all the things we are going on slow speed, so many techniques and all. But they said, no, throw it out. Like, so I go for the liner insert from like your V.O.C RTA engines from 96, 92, from 92 container vessels, they are coming naturally. So they are having this weight fuel ratio, whatever. So we want all light materials, you know that. So in that, sir, the owners are very particular. MSC is doing that. 1.5 years they did that and abandoned that project. Then again they started. Now they are doing for 7 ships of this retrofit, where the owners are so particular. Dilmange more, no? So they are asking more. What they said, you won't believe it. It should run on 3 fuels, same engine. So normal fuel, then you go for this LNG. And he said, no, I cannot go only for the LNG run. Should be a FG vessel, like a universal. So they asked that one. They have to go for this methane also. So 3 fuels, the same engine is going to handle, sir. They got succeeded. And the fuel injector is the model where all these things are going to happen. So they are wondering, V.O.C, please refer the details. It is very limited. And one more thing, sir, then you may be asking me how you are going to do the storage. For methane, one tank like container, the space is very important. They don't want the people here now. They want only cargo. That is why we are going for automation, whatever. Okay, low pressure CO2 bottles, like we are going for that. So what they have done also, one reservoir, the material is been researched and they have constructed. They got approval from the class also, so that one bottle only when it is empty, like you can change out the fuel. They are going like anything like the economical sustainability, space, whatever you call it. So please refer the V.O.C latest retrofits, and they got the order for 70 vessels, MSC containers. So that is a totally different topic, sector, sir. Will answer your question. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Ramakrishnan.
What I would just have to ask is, can Rajat Mehta ask the cadets that are they learning anything extra apart from what they are learning at the institute or the college, right? So rather than asking it like that, do you think it is really necessary for them to know those things, or you just feel only because it will be a value addition, or it will be a value addition in terms of filtering assurance that they need to learn this? Because learning about data science or AI is one thing, learning about cyber security, which will be helpful to the person also on board, is another thing. That means it will become a part of the curriculum very soon, if not now. So what is your take on this? This is a general questions to all of you in the panel.
Hello, can you hear me? So that is a very interesting question. See, what happens is when you are learning many things, you suddenly find a passion into some sector which you want to go into. So I would say many people have come here to be marine engineers. But I see now the trend, most people are dropping out after 4th engineer, +4, +3. They are doing some in-state courses, they are doing MBAs, they are going to IIMs, some people are writing UPSC. Why are they doing that? Are they finding this marine our sector? I mean, aren't they finding it interesting? There's nothing to learn? Or is it pressure or is it what? I mean, aren't they making enough money? You don't know. They are finding their passion. So what happens is when you are doing some curriculum, some course, like the guys from IITs or even engineers, many people do engineering but they are sitting in banks. Most of the engineers are sitting in banks. It's a true thing. IIT guys, they study something and doing something. My son is an IITian. He is from IIT Kharagpur. He is studying BTech and from in chemical engineering. He is doing his PhD in artificial intelligence in natural language processing in Bulgaria. So there is no connect. So when you find your passion, what you are interested in, what you want to do, you will only understand when you try many things or try to learn many things. So for that, and your brain also stretches. Why do you think they teach all the subjects in school? Geography, history, we use the schools. What is the point of learning about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj or what is it going to help me out? But in reality, what they are saying that the more you learn, the more you are able to grasp, the more you are able to store, right? It stretches your brain. So in that aspect, learn whatever you want, then find your bearings. Whatever you are interested in, probably you want to be an entrepreneur, or probably you want to do MBA, whatever interests you. This is not the start of your career, or not the end of your career. So in that aspect, you need to try all things possible. And with today's, we were not so lucky in our younger days. We didn't have so many choices, and we were more thrust upon by our parents. Do this. I wanted to do chemical engineering, but I ended up doing mechanical engineering because my father was a mechanical engineer. So he said, no, do mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, no scope. So I followed him. So, but today's kids are very well informed, They want to do what they like. So let them try out. So no harm in learning some new skill, So that's, I hope.
Thank you. So you take over it.
Can I add a few words?
Getting popular now. Yeah, so another guy that is young. What do you make? Yeah, just a small take. I think this is also be a closing statement. Whatever you do, you just stay very curious. Okay, that's one trait that you should have. It is not that you are in a particular stream and then you are going to follow that, but just stay curious, stay committed. You will reach your goals. All right, you will reach your goals.
So I have successfully sorted the alien species from the alien species, and the right one, extreme left one is the alien one, and the rest and all is alien species. So using my study, I have used the machine learning algorithms for classifying these five fragments and correctly identifying the alien species from the data. So I got an overall accuracy of 91%.
Now it's a question and answer session. Judges and the audience may ask questions to the presenter.
Any questions? If I may ask you, can you explain how biodiversity risk assessment is done from your studies?
I'm kind of using the technology part to segregate the invasive species coming to the ships, like the vessel, to the classifier.
Just for us who may not use the subject, many of them are only seafarers. How is this plan to be achieved? Is it going to be online, or is it going to be automated, or it should be done in the lab? How this process will work? Can you explain?
Currently, my this is a laboratory work. It's like all the photos I took is but this time can be implemented in any technology so that we can use and even in the
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Be consistent, don't give up, don't quit, and it's okay to fail. That's the most important thing you should understand. It's okay to fail. Failure is a process, failure is a part of the learning process, you know. The more you fail, the more you will succeed. Okay? So,
How many of you would want to become leaders? Come on. How many of you want to become leaders? That's all. What about others? How many of you want to become leaders again? Yeah, keep it going. You will achieve your success then. You have defined your goal, you will get the goal. Okay?
My name is Neha Sridhar, I'm a project associate. My paper title is Multi-Modal Sensor Fusion Technique Driven Underwater Systems Classified Identification for Biodiversity Conservation. So here I'm using to identify the underwater species in the ocean. So we are using the multi-modal sensor fusion technique, which is known as collecting the multiple data of underwater species from the ocean and doing the further analysis. So here I'm using multi-modal fusion technique with the help of HCM. HCM, which is nothing but hierarchical confusion matrix, which is a kind of identifying the species. Normally, when we go into the ocean, we will be identifying only the species. But today's environment, only identifying the species is not much enough. So we need to upgrade. So that here I am working in identifying the genus, species, phylum, order, level also. So next slide. In this methodology part, I am collecting the data from the Lakshadweep Island between 90 to 100 meters, where I collected the underwater data study with the help of all remote operated vehicles. So out of 1,041 images, I am going to 343 images for further analysis. These are the species I look for the classification process. Mitochondria, Enterophyta, Juniper, Cyanoclasses, and so on. So this is the data from Tiger, where I collected the underwater images. So when we collect the underwater images into the deep water, the images will be low quality. To enhance the quality, we need 23 processing. After what the pre-processing is that, we go into the classification process. In that classification process, I am using this multi-model configuration HCM, which is called hierarchical configuration manual. It will be detect the classification accuracy of the spaces like genus, phylum, order. There will be some standard in identifying the spaces. So at last, we will be getting the prediction accuracy result in genus to species level. Next slide. So yeah. This is the result. So out of here I used 9 spaces only. So I will be getting the exact accuracy is 92.22. And also that taxonomically relevant accuracy, which means related to same genus, family or class. Morphological similarities and taxonomical structures, there will be 88.78%. So yeah, this is the result. Here it will identify the exact species. The same species it will be done. So if it is only same phylum, there is some kind of 0 to 60, 0 to 80, same phylum and class order. 20 to 40 is still related. So if it is under 0.10, completely unrelated. So these are the results. Total samples I have taken 9 exact accuracy.
One more thing.
So these are the species and predictor level similarity scores. The conclusion. So why are we using this HCMS? Nowadays we can only able to identify the species level, only the name. So this will help particularly in distribution matrix to predict the genus to the phylum order level. So we can implement this in future in forms, taxonomical data set related websites. This will be implemented. It will be useful for to identify the species from the extraordinary up to level. Thank you.
Now it's the question and answer session. You guys may ask the questions.
Hierarchical confusion matrix will help to identify and predict the genus to the phylum order level.
What is the basis for this currently defined samples on the basis? How much samples normally you should claim that your thing is working? What was you face some challenges getting data?
Collecting the unloaded data, we won't be getting the alternate data. Sometimes the images will be poor visibility. We can't able to see the images. So we're collecting the data from with the help of auto, remote operated vehicles, so automated and remote vehicle. With the help of it, we'll be extracting the images. So we'll be using some pre-processing technique. In that technique, there are so many algorithms and techniques. So with the help of it, we can enhance the image. So after pre-processing over, you can able to see the images and then you can further moving to this classification.
So the 9 samples is not sufficient for
So as of now, to testing the model, I just use 9 samples, but I converted those 9 samples into multiple frames. Exactly what you said is correct. So those 9 samples were all in one. So I'm just converting into multiple frames.
So right samples, location, season, you have literature review, you don't have to skip and run. You can take one very relevant and very well established, which is very closely aligning to your result. And if you mention that people can also understand it. So this is the person who has done a lot of research in this subject and they are branched out.
Now I call our next participant, abstract ID 005 V.O.C. My work is based on AI-powered methods for classifying and identifying underwater species using infrared method. This is one part of artificial intelligence technique to identify the species using the classification model. And next. Visual recognition in underwater environments is challenged by several factors such as the low contrast, durability, and poor lighting and noise. To overcome these issues, using the traditional image processing techniques that are not enough for now. So I moved to the GAN-based method for classification. GAN is the unsupervised learning method. So it is for unlabeled data. So these are the data survey I will use for the information index. Next. In methodology, in underwater images were collected with ROVs and public repository, open repository. And these images are pre-processed using the traditional methods like histogram and image scaling and data augmentation. Data augmentation techniques is used for overfitting the model, reduce the overfitting of the model. And these images are used for the classification. So I use the InfoGAN AI technique. The InfoGAN is the information maximizing GAN, and it is used for the interpretable and for unlabeled data. It learn the features from the unlabeled data. So all images are stored into the one folder. So there is no subfolders are here. So next. So this is the process flow. The data are collected from the underwater vehicles like ROV, and data is pre-processing and prepared the data set and classified using the InfoGAN method and prediction documents. And the data set preparation I used 70% for the training and 30% for the testing data sets. And the pre-processing steps and explain the InfoGAN and extract the features and learn from the extracting feature do the prediction. For the InfoGAN method, I got 89.26 AI model accuracy. So after classification, I did the line-based prediction. Line is a local interpretable model accuracy explanation. It's a type of explainable AI. So the images are placed into the smaller pixels, small regions in the same pixels, and each regions affect the prediction and highlight the important regions for the prediction. Next, this is the confusion matrix I got. So next. For the same I got 89.26 accuracy. It highlights the potential real-world marine monitoring applications. So these are the key references I used for this classification.
Can Bobby Kong, can Sakshita Kapoor to join the panel discussion on niche shipping startups, how students can leverage V.O.C's entrepreneurial spirit. Let us hear the voices of our future maritime leaders as they share their ideas and vision. Over to you, sirs.
Good evening, everyone. Can we settle down at the back? My dear cadets, please have your seats. Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. I think the most important thing she missed out is that I'm an alumni as well. So 25 years ago, I've been in your chair. I've been there as a cadet. And then I've been at sea for another 20 years. And then now I'm on my entrepreneur journey. So I quite understand the journey that you will be taking as well. So it's a pleasure to be here. And it's very nice to have 4 cadets as part of this panel. So to start off, I think it's a very, very valid subject that we have here. The first question I'd like to address to Cyrus. V.O.C had entered shipping to break foreign monopoly and empower locals. If V.O.C were alive today, which market gap in India's maritime sector do you think you would target first?
So that's a wonderful question, sir. Thank you for that. So, what market gap that we could exploit that current entrepreneurs who are trying to become business people in the future could exploit as per V.O.C's previous inspiration is the coastal navigation, inland coastal navigation. As we see, multiple big names in the shipping industry do not focus mostly on the small sectors, the small vendors, the small distributors. But as India has a large coastline, 7,200 kilometers, it can become a large, financially benefited. It can be very useful, and it's especially crucial for startups as nobody has started that idea, nobody has tried it out yet, and even the Indian government has realized the potential in coastal navigation, and it has introduced Sagarmala Sambar. It gives up ideas for starting coastal hubs, which has coastal exclusive zones and specialized coastal exclusive zones which contain port hubs having industries which can easily connect for trade into shipping. This even reduces as our main goal now is to reduce emission. As per IMO regulation and the 2050 goal is to reach net zero. The crucial thing in shipping is compared to other means of transport, the amount of carbon produced is very less. It's per ton, it's very, compared to others it is very less. And as you know, big industries mostly go through roads, railways, and the emission compared to that shipping can be saved. And we can even produce much more employment opportunities. This is my idea on this.
Thank you, sir. I'm actually surprised that you know about Sagarmala and so many things. I wish more people were thinking in those lines.
Thank you, sir.
So moving on, you mentioned Sagarmala. Right? So Sagarmala is building coastal connectivity and new mining ports. That's what the project is about. What kind of startups could you imagine thriving in this space? Would you focus on cargo, passenger ferries, or smart logistics, and why? This question goes out to Bobby.
Thank you, sir, for the question. So, good afternoon, everybody. So, as we look at the shipping industry today, there are several niche areas where startups can really make a difference. So, I would like to highlight some of the ideas in detail, particular. So, the first one is the green shipping technology. So, one of the most promising niche areas is the green shipping solutions. Still, in our world fleet, we have vessels that are working on the conventional fuels. So, apart from replacing them with new ships, which will be much costly and time consuming, there are the startups can step in with retrofitting technologies, whether it is hybrid propulsion or efficient hull modification or scrubber system. So this is where our startups can be there. And then talking about the scrubber system and also this helps the ship owners to reduce emissions without scrapping their own fleet. So our vision, it also reflects V.O.C. Chidambaram mindset that he also believed that he also worked for that belongings, that he believed that changes that he had been the changing established norm. He also challenged the changing established norm and the system was outdated. So this topic is not just about the IMO 2050, complying with the IMO 2050 targets. It's about the future challenging the industry. And the second one would be the logistics, the limiting logistics. So there are some regional and remote ports that are under-reserved. So because of that, the large shipping lines are considering them as commercially unviable. So we can make a startup, like we can use small commercial coastal ships so that we can build that transport between the major hubs and the local ports. So this will not only grow the trade, but in the coastal regions of India and in the island nation, this will also transform the trade and the local economies. So V.O.C. vision was that only, by contributing and connecting all the communities through trade. So this was V.O.C.'s vision, and this idea, this opportunity will help us to meet that unmet need. And then we have one more niche area according to me, that is the digital maritime services. So in today's time, there is a huge potential. We are seeing that digital platforms are growing. Like unlike aviation and road transport, digitalization is not well developed in the shipping area. But startups can build apps for crew training, and they can also build AI-based route optimization and even predictive maintenance. So this will improve the efficiency, the safety, and the cost effectiveness. So when we talk about this AI app, so just imagine a seafarer can access the simulation-based programs in his smartphone, or a ship owner or a ship operator can use AI to reduce the emission or to save fuel on the next voyage. So this is kind of disruptive thinking V.O.C. Chidambaram promoted and encouraged, like employing people with the right knowledge and tool so that they can perform better. And last but not the least is the specialized cargo handling. We should not forget about that special niche areas such as the LNG bunkering and project cargo logistics. All these areas are sometimes just the company loses focus on them. So this startups can help to build some more innovative ideas and all, so that they can take this on track and they can use this as a startup and profit themselves and make a profitable business. So at last, I would say that whether it helps in making the vessel cleaner or helps in connecting the smaller boats, so our main vision will always be the spirit of V.O.C. Chidambaram. That is, that we have to connect all the community through trade, and we should not think about the profit. It's purpose before profit. Thank you, sir.
Well said, Bobby. I hope Mr. V.O.C. could hear that. Yeah, talking about, you mentioned about green solutions as well. So MRE 2030 talks about decarbonization, green ports. How can a startup led by young cadets, such as yourselves, create green solutions in shipping, bunkering, coastal trade? I have this question to Akshara.
So at the time of use at this time, we were under British monopoly, and in 1906 this man stood up and for the whole nation he stood up, and we brought about Swadeshi Steam Navigation Company for long time. And as far as I, as an Indian and a young student out here, so this we are facing many strategic conflicts and strategic difficulties coming up. And these difficulties, we have to overcome these difficulties first of all. And these barriers, I'll say, these includes like, for example, let's say IMO regulations. If IMO is starting, someone who is having a startup idea and I'm coming forward, we are having IMO regulations. If I am not following this regulation, then I'll face hurdles in my very first itself. So that is one very important point. And not just that, and if I am approaching someone, I am having a startup, I need people who are knowledgeable in the field, like seaman, who with enough and maybe more knowledge in the criteria. If it all is related to your propulsion systems or hybrid propulsion systems, something like that, then we need people who are knowledgeable in that field. And most of the time what happens is the people who are knowledgeable, they will already be connected with higher pay, high scale, the salary scale, and they won't, most of the time they might not support the small scale business or a startup order. So that might happen where skilled people, knowledgeable people might not be there to support your venture. And also one thing is that, as I said about regulation, we need lawyers. Multiple firms are interrelated to whatever startup we are putting forward. So that is one very important barrier to small startup. Yeah, and in the time of V.O.C. building, he didn't have any money coming out. And shipping, it is very capital intensive, right? Just for one ship, it will cost out like what, $30 to $50 million.
Ethanol and synthetic gas for sign gas. Why do we need this alternative fuels? First of all, to meet the IMO decarbonization targets. Currently, IMO is targeting to reduce or curb greenhouse gases emissions by 30% by the end of 2030, and they are having some projections to reach net zero by 2050. Secondly, the promising alternative fuels that we have is ammonia, methanol, syngas, and in syngas, for your understanding, hydrogen and methane are an example for syngas. The core challenge. The core challenge is actually the lower calorific value, which is much lower than traditional diesel. That's what we need to come up. Why conventional turbochargers fall short? The first thing is lower energy density fuels. Fuels like ammonia and methanol require much larger air-fuel ratio, which the current turbochargers are struggling to get this volume precisely. Secondly, commercial characteristics. For instance, ammonia has a slow ignition property and high ignition temperatures, like the exhaust temperatures are so high that the current turbochargers can't withstand the temperatures. Thirdly, fixed limitations. The traditional turbochargers currently are having fixed turbine and compressor mating. And secondly, they are having some boost pressure caps which makes their rotational only at a particular speed. Like there is no variable speed change that can be done for the changing over of fuel. Cummins breakthrough. I have taken this idea of turbocharging through Cummins. They are currently designing a dual stage turbocharger which will help to get perfect air and fuel ratio for methanol. What is it actually? There is employed twin entry turbines and variable geometry nozzle rings and diffusers to get high demand of boost pressures for the air supply. The second is optimized air-fuel ratio. As methanol is having a very lower calorific value, we need a SCR system, selective emission control system, which can curb the byproducts of methanol. Thirdly, robust hydrogen solutions. Currently, hydrogen cannot be stored completely, so we can do blending with methane to curb down the temperatures to -163 degrees. IMO dietary compliance. These turbochargers are integrated with selective catalytic reduction systems, which are enabling engines to meet the IMO Tier 3 emission standards. My idea is to inculcate the idea of turbo compounding, which is currently used in jet engines. The turbo compounding means that we are using the turbines to increase the engine speed for the jets, but I am trying to get it incorporated in the turbochargers such that we can use those turbines as simultaneously as with the normal turbines in a two-stage manner to get it in a higher and variable speed matching. If there is a change in fuel, the AI integrated system and a rapid response can help to get to that particular RPM such that the fuel and air mixture is particularly better.
So thanks for the
Currently, the comments have found out that with this thing, they have got 6% more efficiency in engines by using methanol rather than traditional diesel. In a diesel as well as gas emission systems. With fuel economy boost, there is a projection that it will be having improvements of 5 to 7% in heavy duty engines. The future outlook is there is firstly corrosion resistance. What I have found out is Inconel, chromium based and nickel based alloys are proficient for the
they have introduced those things to us. They have taken governmental schemes such as Sagar Mala, that he has already mentioned, Maritime India Vision, then Sagar Mein Samriddhi, Amrit Kal, so many governmental schemes, and MSME Hackathon, which is providing up to 15 lakh of funding for the students who are coming up with their ideas, if their ideas are getting selected. In the college, incubation centers are there, as in our college also it's there, in various IITs and this IMUs, incubation centers are tied up with the industries, so which is helping students to come up with their ideas. They are not that much fear that it was in those days. So, that's all.
Yeah, it's good to hear that Amet University has changed over so many years. When I came to Amet University, there were only two things. Either if you are from the engineering batch, you become a civil engineer. From the tech side, the only thing you are taught is to become a captain. What she said is that Amet University is teaching us to be entrepreneurs, which is something new, because I never knew about entrepreneurship until recently, until the past 2-3 years ago. And, I've not done any discussion. I took a chance. I believed in something, I found a problem, and I thought, okay, let's design a solution for this, because nobody is making it.
Sir, I do agree with you. Like, sometimes we always have to hit and try. Because, as sir has already mentioned, that sometimes without failing, you cannot come up with a very good idea. So, it's good to fail sometimes. So, it's very important. If you have something, you have to come up, you have to hit, you have to try. And that's it.
Yeah, that's good, that's good. So it's all about the mindset, I would say it's the mindset. It's not about failing or success, it's about trying, giving it a shot. You believe in something, and then, that's what entrepreneurship is all about. Right? So it's nice to see so many of you sitting here in this room, listening to this about entrepreneurship and ideas. This never happened. This never happened 5 years ago. So I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for your answer as well. So the next question, I would like to put this out to Cyrus again. Cyrus is interesting. So under Sagar, say somebody who mentioned about Sagar Mala, she said about this new scheme as well. India is pushing fisheries, coastal tourism, and aquaculture. What startup idea would you pitch that links shipping with coastal communities in a way that goes into friendships?
So what the V.O.C spirit was about self-reliance, and it was also about bringing the community up as he headed into the future. So through the idea that what I had mentioned before, coastal navigation, inland navigation, through that I want to, we would like to also bring up the society in those areas. For, like I mentioned previously about, as you said again, Sagar Mala, Sagar Se Samar, all these are initiatives identified, all these are programs identified and implemented by the government, so that startups in such areas who have the same ideology as me, same ideology into developing coastal navigation and inland navigation, can implement them. Whether they have a financial issue or whether they are not able to gather people around having the same ideas, this program brings about such ideas. And also, as if the idea is feasible enough, they can make it global. And as you have mentioned before, one of the ideas that can help the society that V.O.C came about in the sense of V.O.C spirit. Sakshi had a brilliant idea that she wanted to talk about. I hand over to her.
We'll talk about ideas in the end. So we'll brainstorm a few ideas. I would like to hear some ideas. We'll do that in the end.
That comes up well under this topic. As you mentioned, V.O.C spirit, and as I had previously mentioned about bringing the community along.
Okay, go for it.
Thanks for this opportunity. Then the idea which we have submitted, and what we can say is we have made a paper presentation or full research paper for our project is how we can make ammonia with the help of captured carbon on board ship. That is basically a closed loop system. Our industry is going for net zero emission by 2050. So we are going to use ammonia as a fuel. So with this retrofitting thing which we have developed, we are researching on it. We can produce ammonia by the captured carbon on board itself, which we can use as a fuel. So that will basically reduce the cost of fuel, as well as we will not be dependent on any other sources for this thing. And but the research is still on hold. Like we are searching for the people who can help us in getting that ammonia product reactors, because earlier it was like we have to, if we want to produce ammonia, we should have a certain high temperature and high pressure. But now the Australian scientists and some more researchers have came up with an alternate project, that is they have developed a membrane technology in which we can produce the ammonia at a very low temperature. But in India we are not able to get it, so that's why our prototype is on hold. So we are waiting for that. So let's see.
Is this part of the Amet? Yes. That's good. That's good to hear. That's the spirit. I would say. I think the future is in your hands, like as I mentioned earlier. So it's not about just coming here and learning how we navigate ships. It's about the future. Right? Sustainability is not just for you. The word sustainability, to sustain, is to leave behind for future generations. That's the meaning of sustainability. And as you know, our planet, there's no plan B. So we are all on common goal of sustainability. And I'm amazed with how you guys are thinking now. You're on the right path, and hats off to Amet University as well to encourage such ideologies. Yeah, thank you very much for that. Thank you, Taras. So we'll move on to the next one for me again. So V.O.C faced resistance from the British shipping giants. Right, the geopolitics in those days. So today's startup faces finance, regulations, competition. So how do you overcome these barriers, the resilience that V.O.C had?
So first we'll tell about that collaboration. So V.O.C didn't do it alone. Collaboration was at the heart of the V.O.C success. So he formed a group of local locals, traders and the allies who believed in that common vision. And then only he was able to achieve it. So in the same way, today's cadets can also do the same thing and follow it and achieve their goals in a different way. So talking about these days, like these startups and all, we also need to focus on these things so that how can they achieve this. So first would be the alumni mentorship programs. So when we talk about alumni mentorship, so we have a huge advantage because we have an alumni network. So the people who are already sailing or like they are working in shipyards, ports or other maritime startups. So by creating a structured mentorship program, they can directly get knowledge and experiences from their real life experiences. And this is just not limited to their career guidance, but it is also providing opportunity for the young cadets to innovate, for the minds to innovate. Then we also have interdisciplinary student projects. So now in this stage, like in this generation, just shipping is not just limited to navigating a ship. It's all about technology, logistics and sustainability. So talking about the sustainability thing, so I'm giving an example that just think that a naval architect student teams up with a student of IT and a business school student and a logistics student. Then they can create a project that is far more technically strong and far more commercially viable. Because for example, if they decide to design a green vessel, so the naval architect student, he can focus on the design. The IT student could focus on the digital part, and the logistics student could focus on the positive impact and the solutions. So in this way, this cross-discipline collaboration, I guess this will be the seed of the real startup. Then we also talk about the social media. So the use of social media for global maritime connections. So unlike V.O.C's time, we didn't have any social media platform, but now we have the power of social media. So cadets can make use of Twitter, LinkedIn and other maritime forums to connect with international innovators, even investors for shipping. and they can take part in the international competition and even collaborate online in projects. So this will also build their innovative skills and all. So when we talk about this R era, so in V.O.C's era, what unity meant? Unity meant connecting all the communities, like the lower communities against the British monopoly. But in our era, it means uniting the students, the alumni and the global network. The spirit is same, but it is like in a group, what we can achieve, a person alone cannot. And talking about that MSc hackathon what Edit Silas talked about, so I would also like to share about my project. So it is also a type of startup. We also applied for that many schemes and MSc hackathon. So our project is just based on, the name of the project is Hydrosonics. So our project aims to produce the hydrogen from the wastewater generated on ships. So the wastewater what we're generating from the bathing and washing clothes and all, they're just getting treated and then we are discharging it in the water. So what is the use of that? We can even use a bilge water for that. Bilge water and wastewater, we are just treating it with ultrasonic cavitation. And then we are producing hydrogen by the proton exchange membrane and storing it in fuel cell. So what is the purpose? The use of emergency generators, emergency air compressor on load or the emergency blackout condition. There is no use if we have fuel cell because every day the wastewater is being produced on ship. We can produce hydrogen and store it in the fuel cell so that whenever it is needed, we can use that. So my idea is that, and I guess it will be a good. Thanks.
Have you been on a ship? Have you been on a ship yet? Not yet? Okay, it's interesting. Yeah, I think when you go on a ship, you're going to have far more ideas. Without being on a ship, you're having these ideas about. Once you go on board ship, I'm sure you're going to get plenty more ideas. Well done, keep it up. So that brings us to the last question. So this is more of, I would say, okay, I'm sure. So if I gave you 60 seconds to pitch your shipping startup idea inspired by V.O.C, what would your one-line elevator pitch be? You know what's a one-line elevator pitch? So this whole, you know what is an elevator pitch? Elevator pitch. So, yeah, if we both are stuck in an elevator that's going up, and you have just about one minute, and I can, you have an idea and I can make the idea become possible. So give me an idea.
I think the major, as far as shipping is concerned, and we are not just talking about seafarers, we are talking about shipping order and industry specialists and whoever is related with shipping. We are not just talking about seafarers, right? So if you are asking me for an elevator style one-liner, something punchy, I would say something like that. A lot of things are there, and importantly, there are central insufficiencies in shipping as of now. As far as India is concerned, there are certain insufficiencies, and idea of such, I would say that India, as I said, circumscribed kilometer, like the coastline we are having it, and we are having major ports and 200 plus minor ports. So I have intermodal, transportation facilities between all these interconnect all these minor ports and major ports with not just our Indian waterways, with inland also. So I have an idea related to that in such a way that our coastal economy is boosted, our fishermen, our people who are at the lower strata, they will get benefited out of it because that is what V.O.C. Chidambaram aimed at that time. At that time, India didn't have an independent economy, and this man aimed for that. He worked for that, for economic freedom, for economic independence from the British monopoly. And now it's time for us to do it, for our own people. So I think I'll pitch something related to that, connecting all the maybe the islands also, Lakshadweep and the islands, and that's it. Something connecting that, connecting India in trade and economy, holding us together.
Thank you very much. You somehow touched on the right point, whether you know it or not, you kind of hit the idea is in the right direction. Okay, a few questions for the floor. Do you know how much percentage of global trade is by sea? How much percentage of global trade is moved around by ships? 90%? 80, 90? Okay, do you know why? Why ships? It's the cheapest mode of transport? Correct? Okay, do you know how much of global emissions is by the shipping industry compared to the global sector? Louder. 3%? Are you a lawyer? Yeah, so 90% of global trade is by sea, right? And the marine industry contributes to only 3% of global emissions. So do you think shipping is a sustainable business? So do you think the maritime industry is already in a very sustainable trajectory? So do you think ships are going to be obsolete? So do you think mariners are going to be out of job? Do you think technology can replace us? Yes? It cannot replace. We still need the skill set. Okay? Right? So talking about sustainability, coming back to sustainability, marine industry is one of the first that I know is one of the first regulatory bodies in the whole world to have a net zero goal. Like land transportation, there is no net zero goal. Air transportation, there is no net zero goal.
When you come for this sort of conferences, I'll just tell you out of my experience, the time is very less for you. So you should have some sort of abstract also included with your topic so that the chairperson and the other listeners know what the topic is about. So then what happens is that you can directly dive into what your exact topic is. You don't have to waste 2 minutes on the introduction and not have any time to explain the core concept. So think about that. Discuss with the organizers how you can make it better. Second of all, I find that most of your research is very theory based. That is what is already existing. We have been trying to present. So when you do that, there should be some novelty factor. At least you should prepare your own figures, flow charts, or something that can condense the message and it will be able to have a better impact on the people. And then you also have to tailor your conclusions to the audience. So you are in a maritime university, so most of them would be looking towards something related to shipping and other things. So though your research might be unique, you should somehow tie it back to what would be beneficial to the audience. Then only the interest in your topic will also increase. And you have to pay attention to your slides, the formatting, the font sizes. See, these are mistakes everybody makes. Whenever you learn to do the presentation for the first time, these will be mistakes, but you have to correct what fonts are able to be read. Some are too small, lot of text. Because these mistakes so many people before you have also done. So those you should not be repeating. So all these if you do, the value of your presentation and the impact that you put also will increase much more. And very clearly what you have researched should somehow come out very clearly and not leave the audience in some sort of doubt. That way you will also improve your presentation skills and people who are sitting also will benefit from it. And always be, when you are sitting in the audience, always ask the questions in such a manner that you try to learn rather than to prove that person is wrong. So that is always a thing that I see in very many conferences. People want to prove that the author doesn't know something. That should not be our goal. Our goal should be to have an open mind and understand what that person is saying. And if we have a genuine doubt, we should try to discuss with the author. And similarly, the author also should value their time, because here 20-30 people are sitting, each one is spending so much of time. You should be very appreciative of their time and you should be able to present what is really useful to them. Then it is a win-win for both the organizers and for the presenters. And when you do this in other conferences also, the value will increase. So take this as a feedback and all the best for everybody.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful words. Now may I invite our co-chairperson, Chief Engineer M. Satish Kumar sir, to share his concluding thoughts.
Happy and healthy evening to all of you. Okay, so I would like to thank the management for giving us the opportunity to conduct the national conference. So that it was a very good platform for the exchange of knowledge. And I think you all would have gained good knowledge and would have gained good experience in this. So I would appreciate more participation. I would like to thank Chief Engineer Mr. Prasad also for taking this time out, having come and raise the occasion also. So thank you so much on behalf of Amet and So and I would like to thank everyone. So I would like to encourage more participation also. Okay. So please take all the valid points which he has given. So, okay. And I will come up. We have a lot of conference and webinars, seminars which going to happen, and we are also having the international conference also. So all the very best. So I would like to encourage more participation also in the future. Okay. Thank you so much. All the very best.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable remarks. Now, I would like to call upon
That means that your actual earning begins probably after 8 or 9 years. Let's assume. Do you all agree with me? That is the time you can comfortably say you will start some hike in your bank balance. Till the time whatever you earn, of course, you will be helping your parents to amortize your loan or you will be doing something. So, ideally speaking, this is 2025. 3 years or 4 years from now, your actual earnings will start from maybe 8 or 9 years down the line. And thereafter, you can think of, now suppose, if you have somebody, they want to invest on you. Let me say, 1 crore, whatever comes into dollars, they want ready to give it to you. What 3 options you will consider? Will you take that money and sit under the greenwood tree, resign from this course, my job is done, I don't want to do anything? Will that be the option? Because that is what I am going to earn in my entire lifetime. Maybe let's take the money a little higher, maybe 5 crores, which is easily possible in the lifetime of a seafarer. When he is sailing for 10 to 15 years, 5 crores is nothing. They can easily make. So whatever you are going to make, when you tend to come out of the sea career, somebody wants to give it to you right away, now. Will you take that and say goodbye? Enough of artificial intelligence, enough of this, I don't want anything. Let me go for a world tour and start blasting this money. How many of you for that? I know your inner voice is saying, but you are shying away from pricing that hand. Probably I am saying at this point, yes, I will go for that. But any one of you right now, yes, that is what I am looking for. If I have the money, I will exit. Is there any takers for that? That's what I'll come to that next. Yeah, some takers are good. They want that. It's not a bad answer. I'm not trying to say it's a bad answer. What you're going to get, I still know one story. One king was walking aside and there was one person who was doing nothing there. He was just sitting idle. The king asked him, what you are doing? He's saying, I'm just doing nothing. Don't stay idle, you go and do some work. Then this person is asking, what will I get if I do work? If you do work, you get money. So what will you do if you get money? If I start getting money, I will make more money. After making more money, what will you do? The other person is asking. The king is saying you can go around, see many places. Then what will I do after seeing all these places? You will be happy. And right now I am happy. So why should I work? That was the question that person. What you are trying to expect after 20 years, I am having it right now. There is no need for me to work. Don't force that. That was the answer given. So what I am saying, it's not a bad answer. If you have something like that, take your money, be there and try to enjoy the life the way you want. That is one side. How many of you would like to, because this we are talking about V.O.C's, what do you call, entrepreneurial spirit. When V.O.C wanted to float his first vessel, he had the resource. But his desire was not business. Not very keen into making business. His desire was something else. First he wanted to float his vessel against the clothing rule.
he wants to quit the British oppression. Second, he wants to connect societies. And third, of course, as I told you, for the national pride, everything. So these were the three major desires what we had. Probably floating that business and making money out of this all took a backseat. So there was a proper three purpose in it. So where he wanted to invest and finally he couldn't sustain the British colonial oppression, then he became a pauper. That is a different thing. So there is a purpose. So if you have, do you have a purpose? Will you really invest that money into any business? Will you try to multiply that? Any hands for that? So the panelists are ready and a few there because she's already having an idea. And if at all, if you invest, what will be your ultimate goal out of that? What is that you are looking for? For that I need a very concrete answer. Anybody is there? Maybe I'll give it to the floor. Boy raised a hand there. Could you please share on what will you do? Do you have any idea? Is it a saleable idea? Come forward. Please come forward and please introduce yourself. Round of applause for him.
Good evening, sir.
Now you can come, you can show your face to all. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening to all. I am Sujal Sharaf from Haryana. My opinion is, if I have got money, then I put it into the dairy farming. Then I made more money from that. And I have experience also there.
Any questions to him? Is there any questions to him? He wants to invest and he wants to multiply the money. So what I am looking for basically is the purpose for what do you want to invest, what do you want to deliver. Basically any business, there is a service which you want to extend to the community. Today if Sandeep has grown well means he is extending a service. Some problem is getting solved, so that should be there. So then you will be able to really sustain the fire of V.O.C. So on that note, is there any other call, any good ideas? This you could be a venture capitalist also. I hope you are aware of the terminology. You don't have money, but you have an idea. But you can be a venture capitalist, people are ready to invest on you. So be aware of that. If you have a purpose, if you have something that can sustain the future, this thing, give a solution to the current problems and can meet our expectations, what you call as the SDGs, then it is really, it will flow. And it's not that we have a person here, this side, our founder chancellor, Dr. J. Ramachandran. Whenever I come and give that pep talk to the cadets here, and I tell them, and I fix the milestones in their mind, 10 years from now, you will become the Chief Engineer or Master Mariner. That is the culmination of your career. He stops me. Please don't end them at that point. They should become entrepreneurs. Every one of you should try to aim to become a ship owner, run your own company. And we have a sitting example here, of course, a standing example. He is having his own company, so we got the right person for this panel. So the purpose for what you are looking for is very important. And once again, I wish that they have come with great ideas. And especially on either side, we have got some very good ideas. If you really have the potential, and in the future going forward, when you start earning, and when you can really think of investing, as he said very rightly, before getting the first step on the ship itself, Bobby is coming with lots and lots of ideas. So when you go and really align your actual practice, then you see there are plenty of doors are opening. So once again, I congratulate all of you for that. Thank you.
Incidentally, for all, it's not 7,500 kilometers, it is 11,000, it goes right. It is now 11,090. So that's a change. So they are even what you call around the islands. That's how they become the latest. But beautiful. In fact, I was going to say the same thing you're going to say. Big chat analysis, and I'm talking about it. He is an example of having done that. So we will be having him coming here more often, talking about it. So these are the things that we should be getting out. We are having this year, we're going to have Microsoft what do you call it, program. They are aligned with the judiciary. So things are on. Things are incubated on. People are doing. We had, you remember, Rohan last year. He came out with a fantastic idea, right? So things are there. It will start. It will grow. I hope it goes leaps and bounds. Thank you.
So the last thing, cadets, I'd like to finish off with this. Where you are now is the right time to get started. There's no right time or wrong time to start. I think this is the perfect time for you to start. Why? You don't have any responsibilities right now. Right? You have a spirit, you have ideas, you have endless possibilities. So as you get older, you have more responsibilities, you have more shackles pulling you down. So this is the time for you to get started. And on an average, it takes about 10 years for you to become an expert in your field. When someone, like example, we spoke about, when you have an idea is one thing. That idea should not be, this idea should be something that solves a problem. Often we start about thinking of the solution first. But if you ask them, what problem are you solving? To define the problem is the most difficult thing. So if you can take a problem and define the problem, when you can analyze a problem, the solution is in itself. Right? So that's step one. Step two is, by the time you can define this problem and you have the experience to define this problem, you have so much knowledge that people are ready to act on it. That was the same thing in my case. Being in the shipping industry for so long, there was a problem that we identified, and I had a solution, but we had no customers at the time. But again, there were a lot of challenges. We don't have finance, there were so many things. But today, there are people who are willing to back us up. Why? Because they know that we have been in this field, we are aware, to validate yourself. And at the same time, we're speaking about success and failure, so it takes time. So for you to start now, for you to have an idea, find a solution to it, to try it, test it, to find somebody to support you. Spoke about collaboration. You cannot do it alone. You need a team. Finding the right people, bringing people together, trying an experiment, not working well, change it, try another experiment, change it. 1,000 light bulbs were tried first, then you created the light bulb. So it takes time. So why do you want to waste time? Time is the most valuable resource we have right now. So I'll end this to say, get started today, think big, start small, sky is the limit, nobody can stop you, there's nobody that can stop you. It's only yourself stopping you. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Captain Sandeep Tripathi and Captain K. Karthik for moderating the panel discussion. And we extend our heartfelt thanks to our student panelists for their enthusiastic participation and insightful contributions. Your perspective added great value to the discussion and truly reflected the voice of our cadets. We are proud of you and appreciate the confidence and dedication you brought to the panel. Thank you, students. Now I request Captain Gopal Srinivas to honor speakers at the memento as a token of our appreciation. Captain K. Karthik. a week on. Derek Shakshi Thakur. Small announcement. For paper presentation, track 3 and 4 will be happen tomorrow at 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. in the same auditorium. At the same time, track number 5 and 6 will be happened in AV Hall only. The validity function starts at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So with this, we have come to the end of today's event. Until we meet tomorrow, this is Dr. NCESFS V.O.C signing off. Thank you. Students, please wait for some time. Let the dignitaries see them on, then you can go.
Good.